Welcome to Abstract Audio, the podcast presenting life as an abstract art form. The show that encourages you to perceive beyond the tangible, to extract the infinite from the finite, to see with the mind what you cannot physically see with the eyes. Oh, it's an emancipation. It's an exploration into areas usually overlooked. Explore with me on today's episode. Welcome back, Abstract fam. You're tuned into Season 2, Episode 2 of the Abstract Audio Podcast. I'm your host, Amber Janae, here to bring you all the best and most random thoughts that pop into my head on a bi-weekly basis. Fair warning going in this week, you may not always like everything I say here, but hey, you just gotta accept it. And that's where we left off last episode. If you missed it for some odd reason, like if you happen to be living under a rock, we basically came to the conclusion that the best way to battle expectations and entitlement is with accountability and acceptance. So this week, as per usual, we're continuing the conversation. So the way I see it, we all on some level want to be accepted, right? Even those of us who don the title of lone wolf or say we never wanted to fit in the crowd anyway, to some extent still have that intrinsic need to belong. It's nature, we can't help it. Even though at times it seems as if we're going away from it, at the end of the day, we're all social beings, hardwired to feel safer in groups. And we actually touched on this a bit last season, if you want to check it out. But today, I wanted to delve a little bit deeper. Y'all cool? Cool. Let's talk acceptance and individuality. For as long as most of us can remember, if we've had any parents or teachers worth their salt, that is, we've each been told just how special we are, how uniquely important what we have to offer is, that we're one of a kind even. And if you were deprived of that as a child for some reason, like say you grew up in a Disney movie with like an evil stepmother, or if you were a rapper whose teacher told them they wasn't ever gonna be shit, though odds are you probably heard it at some point throughout your life. I mean, what are the odds of all those rappers' teachers saying that to them anyway? Either those educators are straight up awful out here, or somebody lying. Anyway, regardless of whether or not you've internalized this special cliche, it may still seem like a positive, uplifting phrase to you guys. And I just really hate to burst anyone's bubble here. Who am I kidding? No, I don't. This show is literally all about shattering people's perceptions. So let's get cracking. See what I did there? Cracking, shattering. You get it. So this may come as a surprise, but the dictionary defines special as better, greater, or otherwise different from what's usual. Now therein lies the problem, and I think you can probably tell where I'm going with this. It's like you get to a certain age and you start to realize, like, wait a minute, if I'm special, how can this motherfucker over here be special too? Okay, yeah, we're different from each other to an extent, but certainly he's not better than me, not that different than the usual. What are the odds we're both special, right? Then you get to thinking, now wait another goddamn minute. If we're all special, doesn't that just mean none of us are? Because if special is the usual, the norm, the definition refers to, isn't that just a nice way of saying we're all exceptionally regular? Now, I actually started having this internal dialogue when I was about 11 or 12-ish. Those preteen years and when shit really starts to hit you. But to me, the thought is just as valid now. I mean, I have a son of my own at this point, and I always make it a point to not tell him he's special per se, because I know actually, that comes with a myriad of issues later on down the line. Mainly because they're issues I've dealt with personally. I mean, it says it right there in the definition. Thinking you're special goes hand in hand with thinking you're better or greater than others somehow. And this is found in actual research, guys. Telling kids they're quote-unquote special can be counterproductive and lead to what we talked about last episode, a sense of entitlement or unrealistic expectations. And like we said last episode, thinking you're somehow better gives you the impression that things in life should just come easier to you because of that. Or in my case, that the rules just don't apply to us. That's something I'm still trying to get over, to be honest. Like, I'm clinically bipolar, but even outside of that, A lot of my life has been spent with me yo-yoing between thinking I'm a fucking gift to humanity and thinking I'm the scum of the earth. Like there's no in-between for me. That's what bipolar technically is, you know, those really high highs and those really low lows on the other end of the spectrum. The meds help even all that out in regards to the way I see myself, but overall, my perception on this topic has generally stayed the same. You know, being special is overrated anyway, if you ask me. Just the shit that comes with it. When you think about it, it's a lot on both ends. And you guys know how I feel about pressure if you listened in last episode. Being special comes with a lot of it. It's like people are always looking at you or looking to you to do something great.
Well, what are you waiting for?
I don't know, something amazing, I guess.
When you're labeled as special or gifted or exceptional, the weight of what's expected of you can be so incredibly heavy. Even if we're talking about like looks. Ever heard of pretty privilege? We all have, right? But it goes a little beyond that. There's a psychological term for expecting a person to be or behave better solely because they're more attractive. It's known as the halo effect. This cognitive bias occurs when we perceive someone who has a certain positive quality, such as physical attractiveness, as also having other positive traits, such as intelligence or kindness or competence, even when it's unfounded. I actually thought it was kind of funny when I heard it because I kind of think just the opposite can be true too. Like when somebody's too attractive, I just expect them to be stupid. I mean, not on purpose. I don't consider myself like a judgy type of person, but like what are the odds you fine and brilliant? Am I right? Like I know it happened with me, but what are the odds of lightning striking twice? But point is, most attractive people in the world, they get used to skating by, easing through life, using that special aspect about them to coast. And you can see a similar pattern when it comes to how we as a society label special. It has sort of this positive and negative connotation there too, if you've noticed. As far as terminology goes, like kids in the special classes are deemed slow and set apart from the other kids. Yet in all the while, individuality is praised. Of course, they have differing needs from what's considered regular. By the way, be careful with that word because most of us do land somewhere on the autistic spectrum, okay? But the point is, the world wants us to be individuals, but in a group. And that paradox is so interesting to me. I'll give another example if that one was too on the nose. So when a child is on a sports team, for instance, have you noticed the growing popularity of participation trophies? Yeah, it's like we award these kids now just for showing up. Tell them that just showing up and being them, giving varying, albeit low, levels of effort is enough to constitute a reward in life. But it's not. It's really not. This is entirely counterproductive. It tells kids, hey, we're all special, but we all deserve equal praise. And that's just not the case. Like in school coming up, or even in the workforce now, when we're grouped together on a project, we're not scored individually. We're scored as a group. Our individuality that's supposedly praised in today's world is stripped from us for the sake of productivity and ease. And if you want to go on a larger scale even, none of us are special in the eyes of the government. When we're born, we're literally given serial numbers. We're dollar signs. We're toys. We're products on shelves to them. And literally, if you guys want to get into the trafficking topic. But even in the still grander scheme of things, we're all pretty insignificant, aren't we? Specks of dust floating through a vast universe. And do you think God feels we're special? I mean, even that's debatable considering we're all made in His divine image. So in knowing all this, why do we feel the need to be special? Why labels at all? To me, it's just a way of validating our existence and our experiences. Like if we were made without the idea that we're rare or important, we'd barely have anything to live for. Hell, humans literally thought they were the center of the universe until like the 16th century. Thanks a lot, Aristotle. By the way, if you ever hear me refer to humans as they, it's because I don't believe a large portion of us on this planet are originally from this planet. And we'll talk more on that later this season, so stay tuned. It's gonna get weird. But think about it. What really makes you special? Yeah, it's a harder question than you thought, isn't it? I mean, is it your looks, your intelligence, your tenacity, sense of humor, your loyalty? Nah, all these are fairly common traits, believe it or not. Oh, what did you believe your ex when he told you he wasn't like other guys? You fool! No, I mean, nobody really falls for that one anymore. You hear it all the time nowadays. Women say all niggas are the same. Niggas say all bitches are the same. Well, yeah, duh, most are. There are approximately 7 billion of us, remember? If you're not counting beyond Antarctica. And if you know, you know. But out of that like 7 or 8 billion, we've all had the same experiences, the same feelings, the same lives in different bodies over and over again on a seemingly endless loop. Past lives, present lives, time as a concept isn't linear. We all seek the same things, need the same things, but if you want my 2 cents, and if you're here listening to this, I'm guessing you at least kind of do, I think the only thing that truly makes anyone special is that some people are real and some people are not. Stay with me here. Have you ever looked on the highway when you were like driving home from work and thought to yourself, look, there's no way all these people are here right now? Well, you'd be right to an extent, because some people aren't really people. They're organic robots with programmed social affinity executing genetic code. They're soulless, just like fish, mice, or monkeys. Even their ability to talk is just a matter of repetition, like parrots. But make no mistake, they have no original thoughts, and their alleged values and morality are born out of mimicking the words and behaviors of either actual people or a media consensus. Engage these people in conversation, and you'll see that all the things an average human thinks are either what the media has told them to believe or what they repeat from real people. Not things they've actually thought and considered, because they don't have that capacity or the ability. It's why when you ask some people to justify their positions, they start sort of repeating slogans and one-liners they've heard elsewhere. It's a minority of humans who are actually people, and these organic robots were either made to mimic them, or they're able to detect that they're inferior. Either way, this leads to the organic people relatively hating the real people. Thus all the tension and friction we tend to feel in society today. And there it is, folks, the great struggle that results from being different from and yet still being the same as everyone else. There's a lot of talk nowadays about being yourself. People will say, oh, you're so unique, go ahead and be different, don't be conformist. But they don't really mean it. What they mean is, you can shave the hair on one side of your head, but don't shave your whole head. You can get a rose tattoo on your arm, but not on your face. You can let your fingernails grow 2 inches long, but not your toenails. People even go as far as gathering in different groups with different values and standards to escape those rules. And that works for a while, as long as you stick to that group's standards. You're cool. But go beyond them, and you're weird. So while you can be a nonconformist, many of us will eventually still conform to an extent, just to ease that friction, right? Because we all want to fit in somewhere. Point is, y'all, fitting in is bullshit, and so is the idea of being special. You get crap on whatever end of the spectrum you fall on, so you might as well just be you. As far as how society will take it, well, if we've learned anything here today, it's that society is consistently good for focusing on the wrong shit. We label things to try to better understand and simplify them, but we're so much more complex than what our minds can classify as special or different. They're just cliche, empty platitudes. And wouldn't life be so much better if we all just existed instead of trying to justify our existence? If we stopped trying to live up to or outlive those bogus labels that got thrust upon us at some point in our lives? Wouldn't it just be better to focus on praising things like love, effort, resilience, and traits that contribute to the overall development of the soul? Raising the collective vibration. At this point, we need to collectively find a way to let go of what we think we know about ourselves and each other, and what makes us different or the same, and just be, coexist, and move forward with a growth mindset. Speaking of, you know what else is growing by the day? Our abstract family, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. So if any of this episode resonated with you today, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share via Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or visit our website, theabstractaudioshow.com. And until next time, guys, always appreciate the abstract in your life.